I am definitely for circumcision, and there are a lot of benefits for them to be circumcised.
Now, at first, I was not sure about this at all, but then I decided I did not want to circumcise my son. For this reason is that I believe that that is there for a reason. That piece of skin, I'm sure it is there for some reason. A lot of people want it removed for the wrong reasons. They want it removed because it's ugly, it's dirty, you know, he's not going to look the same as other kids. Actually, less and less people are getting their sons circumcised now because it's becoming, you know, like, should I remove this? To me, it's kind of like an eyelid. Like, you know, your eyelid's there to protect your eye, so maybe that's there to protect, you know, his private parts, you know. I believe it is there for a reason. I may be wrong. I don't really care. When I posted my first video about it, people were like, it's nasty and it's not as clean. Like, if you clean your child, it'll be clean. And I don't really see how it's nasty. So I just believe that really there is no need to circumcise. In the end of it, I did have him circumcised just because since I'm a young mother, you know, and Travis is a young father, you know, if he's at Travis's house and his mom is watching him or something and she doesn't know how to clean it, I'm just using an example, I'm sure she does, but, and she doesn't know how to clean it and she doesn't and it gets infected, then, you know, so I did have it done, because that Travis and I thought that was a better thing just in case, you know, we weren't taking care of it properly, no one would be able to say anything bad about us. But now that I did it, I kind of regret it because, you know, I feel like I watch my son every single day. You know, my son's not with anybody else long enough for them to not clean him.
We do not plan to circumcise if we do have a son. We both feel like that is a choice that he should make for himself. So if that's something that he would want later in life, he has the option to make that decision, but I don't feel like that's something that is our right to decide for him for the rest of his life.
I always thought it was just based on your family's preferences and what the dad was. So for our situation, my family and then for my husband Brian's family, they have all been circumcised. So we would, if we had a son, circumcise our son. But that's just how our family would do it. I know a lot of different people have different religious views on the topic or just different views in general, and that's totally fine if you choose not to circumcise your child. Again, that is all your choice.
Now, I actually have a pretty strong opinion about this one, so all the haters, brace yourself. I used to work for a urologist who actually specializes in these type of things. If you don't know what a urologist are, they're a specialist doctor that deals with urinary tracts, bladders, urethras, all the waterworks for men and women. So I worked for a urologist for 7 years, so quite a long time. I do have a little bit of knowledge on this. I don't believe in circumcision. Let's get it down there. I don't believe in it. Understand people getting circumcisions for religious beliefs. I don't understand people getting circumcisions for A, cleanliness, and B, just so they can look like their dad. I know people do that. If their dad was circumcised and they want their little boy to look like their dad. I don't see the necessity in that, and I don't believe that that right should be taken away from a baby. For one, it is being scientifically proven that it makes absolutely no difference whether your boy is circumcised or not, that it's cleaner to be circumcised than not circumcised. It legitimately makes no difference. I mean, if they're cleaning themselves correctly and properly and they taught from a young age, then that is going to make no difference. Second of all, it is scientifically proven that it makes no difference if your baby boy is circumcised or not, whether they have a higher or lesser risk of contracting STIs or STDs. I don't know what I'm pretty sure they call them STIs, sexually transmitted infections or diseases. There's no scientific proof that if you were circumcised, you're less of a risk at catching anything during sexual intercourse. That's not true. So those two are eliminated as kind of reasons why you should get your little boy circumcised. And thirdly, who cares if their penis doesn't look like their father's? Like, who cares? And to be honest, I've been with guys who have been circumcised and who haven't been circumcised, and to me it makes absolutely no difference. They look slightly different, but come on, like, it works the same. Like, let's get real, girls. Does it really matter if it's got a cover or not? Like, come on, penis is a penis. Yes, I'm throwing the word out there. So I don't really feel that there's any medical reason why you should get your boy circumcised. Of course, if there is a problem like their foreskin is not retracting back properly, or they are getting issues like splitting of the skin and stuff, and it's medically required, then yes, he should be circumcised. But that's something that's not going to happen until they are much older and they have that option and that choice. I feel like taking that choice away from a baby, I don't believe in it. I worked for a urologist who also had a strong opinion of not circumcising boys. He refused to do circumcisions on babies. He just flat out refused, and he's a highly ranked professional specialist who is top in his field in Australia, so you know that's got to mean something. I just don't see the necessity of removing like a piece of a body part for no real particular reason that's actually going to benefit them.
I am definitely for circumcision. I do not have a son myself. While I have been nannying, I have been around a few boys that have and have not been circumcised, and there are a lot of benefits for them to be circumcised, and especially as a newborn as opposed to like a grown man going in for that procedure. I personally think that it's a good thing, and again, you're entitled to your opinion about that too. If I had a son, I would like to very much circumcise him, but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't hurt me to do it.
I'm definitely against it. I think the only reason people still do it is because of tradition. People don't want to be wrong, and people hate breaking traditions, and even if the traditions make no sense at all, and there's no medical reason for it. It started based on things that aren't true and have been disproven. There's definitely no medical reason for it, and personally I wouldn't want to inflict that much pain. Like, it's a lot of pain to inflict on a baby. I wouldn't want to do it. I would never do it. I mean, this is a living, breathing thing here, living on its own, that can feel pain and is very sensitive to pain, and I wouldn't want to do that. There's no way I could ever do that. And I know some of the reasons people think that it's gross to not circumcise, and you know, these things, like, it started, and they're just completely not true. It's not gross at all. This is kind of a little personal information here, but my boyfriend is not circumcised, and it's completely natural. It looks basically the same. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I just know that I would never do that to my baby personally.
You know, my partner is, and I prefer circumcision over non-circumcised boys, yes. But also, yeah, and hygienic, and I just think it looks cleaner and, I don't know, looks great. Girls prefer circumcised penises way more than non-circumcised. So that's just my theory, and a lot of other women who have had partners that are say it's so much better. I think it is.
Number 3, circumcision. No, I don't agree with it at all. You know, if it's a medical thing, then possibly, yeah, you know, go for it if your child has a reason where he actually needs those kind of things to be removed. Otherwise, if it's religion and things like that, I don't agree with it. Why cut it if it doesn't need to be cut? If the big man upstairs wanted us to cut ourselves open and have things removed, he would have given us zips or Velcro. That's the way I see it. Why put your child through unnecessary pain? I just don't agree with it at all. Obviously, I probably get a little bit of backlash for that because it is a religious thing on some parts. Other people think it's cleaner. I don't see how it's cleaner. It's natural. I thought natural was clean. So yeah, but that's my own personal opinion. I have 2 boys and I would not get them circumcised. if they were older and they decided that they want to do that themselves, and that's fine, they can go and do that. But as for me doing it to them as babies, no, I just don't agree with it. Unnecessary pain.
I don't agree with it. I think it is not medically necessary. Actually, it's been proven it's not medically necessary. So I didn't see the point in putting him through that pain, just, you know, for the off chance that it might save him from an infection. The fact is that they're prone to get an infection even with a circumcision just because it's an open wound. So that's my view on it.
I am against circumcision, and I say it that way because I do feel strongly about it, but I was not always against circumcision, and I don't think you're a bad parent if you circumcise your child either. What led me to not be in favor of circumcision was just doing my own research. I was really just not informed at all about circumcision. In fact, I kind of thought that every boy was circumcised. I didn't know that any boys were not circumcised, right? My sister had just had a boy, or was close to having her son, and she asked me, she was like, are you going to circumcise him? And I don't remember my exact response, but I do remember saying something along the lines of, yeah, I guess, like, who doesn't circumcise their baby? So therefore I cannot be judgmental of when other people circumcise their children, because I would have done it if someone wouldn't have encouraged me to research. And all it really took was for me to read about how the benefits that there are really aren't that beneficial. It's not really proven whether or not it's better to have a circumcision performed, and also seeing the pictures of what a circumcision it entails. And I was always familiar with female circumcision happening overseas, and it just terrified me to think of that happening to young girls. And although the anatomy is somewhat different, to me it's kind of the same thing, male circumcision. And you know, my son right now is my sweet little boy, you know, right? He's this innocent, awesome little boy. But eventually he's going to be a man, and I want him to be able to have every experience that he's biologically designed to have. And the foreskin does have quite a bit of nerve endings, and I wouldn't want to take that from him just based on tradition or religion, or that maybe some other kid will think his penis looks weird. And I hope that that changes in our society.
I definitely think that circumcision is not necessary. You think about it, it's really kind of a strange practice. Like, why are we cutting off pieces of our sons' penises? Like, honestly, it's kind of strange that it's a religious thing too, but you know, if that's your religious belief, then you know, then that's that. I think that it is something that we should work towards doing less in our culture. I believe that God, evolution, all that came together in a way that, you know, all of the parts of our bodies are there for a reason. And foreskin included, there is a reason that it's there. All animals have foreskins, and like, why are we the one species that is changing that? I'm not sure. I once watched some circumcisions done to baby boys on YouTube, and it was kind of horrifying to me. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It's, you know, babies do feel the pain. To me, it does seem a little barbaric. You know, I really think that it's something that, you know, if you're thinking about whether you should circumcise or not, really do your research. The vast majority of cultures around the world don't do it, you know, except for a few for religious reasons. We should probably be avoiding circumcision and moving our culture in that direction. But like I said, I don't think that it's like the end of the world if somebody chooses to circumcise. But I definitely think that people shouldn't do it just so the son can look like the dad. Sorry, that's a really dumb reason. And just because that's what has been done before. That's a really dumb reason too. We should be thinking about why are, you know, if you're going to circumcise, why are you doing it? Definitely should be a decision that's made with a lot of thought.